All right. Welcome back, everybody, to a special episode of the Show-Offs. Got some great stuff to show to you today. I'd like to welcome my very special guest and co-host, Texas Dave. How you doing, Dave?
Hi, I'm doing not so bad, thanks, Timothy. I'm feeling a lot better now than I did last week because, as you know, I wasn't able to make it onto the show because my voice was really bad. So I'm slowly recovering. I'm still not right, but I'm better than I was, thanks.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that you're on the mend.
Me too.
We don't have Pops today. My understanding is that he is over at the convention.
I believe so, yeah.
So
yes, I think he got to see Jim Shooter, you know.
Right.
So he's got his autograph, I believe.
Yeah, I think they're having fun over there. To be honest, I kind of wish I'd have been able to go to that one. That are they in Michigan? Do you know where they are?
I don't actually know where they are. No, I'm not sure.
I don't get to do too many conventions myself. I wish I could do more, but it's somewhat cost prohibitive for a fella at my level. Because you figure till you get your hotel rooms and everything like that.
Well, that's it. It all adds up, I suppose, at the end of the day, doesn't it?
Yeah, it all adds up. All adds up, man.
Yeah.
But we're going to make up for it. We got some great stuff to show you guys today. And I've got some special collector's items. And I've also got a couple of things. As you know, we like to take a look at some of the lesser known objects in our collection. So would you like to start off, Dave?
Yeah, I can start off, Tim. I've got some innovation comics to start with.
I love innovation. Good stuff.
Yeah. So here's the first one then.
Oh, Quantum Leap, yeah.
Quantum Leap #1. As you can see, he's reading a comic about himself.
Yeah, kind of an infinite cover, they sometimes call that.
Which is quite good, isn't it? So that's that one. This is issue 2. I like the covers on these because I used to follow the series when it was first shown as well, So
yeah, Scott Bakula, right?
That's right. And Dean Stockwell was his sort of that was the guy that was trying to keep track of him, I believe. This is issue number 3, sort of a Christmas themed one, I think.
Oh, gotcha. And what year are we talking about there, roughly, Dave?
No, then that's a good question. To be fair, I'll just have to open this one up, and I'll hopefully be able to tell you the year that was. 1992. Yeah, 1992. That was. In fact, I should show you some of the artwork on the inside, I suppose. Really, that's the splash page.
Oh, nice looking. Sure.
That's the...
Welcome to the chat, Colin. Nice to see you. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, it was quite nice artwork, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, it is good looking.
Not too bad.
I love big splash panels. I've always had a weakness for them.
Yeah, they're quite good, aren't they? So, yeah, I'll just sort of show you a couple of these internal pages just to give you an idea of the style and the colours that were used and things like that.
I like that semicircle at the bottom there.
It's quite unusual, isn't it, that one? Yeah, quite unusual. Issue number 4.
Ah, cool. Sort of a game show cover.
Yeah, because obviously he kind of leapt into all kinds of characters. He didn't know what was going on or where he was or what was happening.
Right, all kinds of wild adventures.
He had different people's faces, if I remember rightly. So when he looked in the mirror, he saw somebody else looking back at him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And that's sort of, that's a Superman type homage, yeah?
Yeah, it kind of looks a bit that way.
Yeah.
Kind of looks a bit that way, though.
And that's from Innovation, you said, right?
It is, yes. All these were published by Innovation.
It's always interesting to me to see which publishers got the rights to which properties,
Yeah.
Because if I recall, Quantum Leap was a very popular show.
Yeah, I used to watch it.
Yeah.
I used to watch it way back then.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah,
now what do we have there? Is that it's the Honeymooners, isn't it?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of looks a bit like that to me. Yeah. Yeah, they come up with all kinds of like wacky covers. This is like a sort of like Saturday Night Fever kind of cover, I would say. Disco. Looks a bit like it.
Cool. Yeah, I like that.
It's kind of an unusual cover where you've got like loads of drawings behind and the two main characters at the front.
And what do we got there? Sort of a montage of the characters, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure just who they are, but there are a few different ones there. Here's a comedy night one.
Pretty cool. He's got the arrow through the head. I always dug that, like Steve Martin.
Yeah. As you can see, I don't know if you can make that out, but
oh yeah, dirty jokes.
1001 really dirty jokes. Comedy night. This is one it's just a cover, so there's no writing on this one.
Gotcha. We talked about that a little bit 2 weeks ago. You know, I often like the covers that are what they call a virgin cover that have no logo dress at all.
Yeah, like a virgin cover, isn't it? I think.
Now, what do we got here? This is sort of a. Well, I see the April calendar. Maybe it's April Fool's Day reference or something.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure just what's going on there.
Sort of farm setting. I see.
Yeah. Something like that. And this is a kind of futuristic one. It's called Time and Space.
Oh, nice. And I see we got the chrome logo on there.
Silvery writing at the top as well.
Yeah.
It's got like an alien there.
Pretty cool, man.
That's that one. Now we're going on to Forbidden Planet.
Oh, now you're speaking my language.
How about
that? Yeah, that's awesome.
This is number 1. Nice cover.
That is a good
very retro style, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm a sucker for Robbie the Robot. Well, I guess in Forbidden Planet, he wasn't called Robbie yet, was he? He was some other name.
Yeah, I think it was just the Robot. Just called Robot. This was published in 1992. That's the splash page.
Oh, cool.
And I think it was done by, let's see, who was the artist? Roxanne, Derek Gross, I think. David Campity was the scripter.
Oh, sure. David's around still. Yeah.
Derek Ross was the adaptation and illustration. Roxanne Starr was the lettering, and Diana Light edits. So looks like the next couple of pages, it was like a sort of spread.
Oh, nice.
That's kind of what that looks like.
Nice visual layout there.
Yeah. So it's quite nicely laid out, this issue.
Sharp.
And
who's the publisher? Who's the publisher on this one, Dave?
Innovation again.
Oh, still Innovation. Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, still Innovation. So that
is Innovation around still these days? I don't even know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I'm not 100% sure, to be fair, but I don't recall having seen any of their stuff for a while. This was the following issue. It's just got another nice cover on it.
I like that one.
Issue 2.
So, and that's the official adaptation I see there. That's interesting. I'll have to check that out. I love the Forbidden.
Yeah, that's the. You can see that at the bottom there.
Yeah, David Campiti, and he's still around too. I see him crop up on Facebook in various areas.
This is issue 3. still going on. Living Planet.
Oh, nice. A little bit more of an action scene.
Yeah. Some nice covers. And number 4. I think there was only 4 issues. I'm not 100% sure, but
okay.
I think there was only 4. So
a little bit more of a noir look on that one.
Yeah,
Deep
yeah.
shading.
It is a little bit more kind of like that, isn't it? Just zoom in a little bit, and then I'll just show you these, and then we'll go over to your side.
Okay, sounds good.
Have you seen this one before?
Let me see. What do you got there? That is The Prisoner. I do remember that.
Yeah.
Great covers on that series.
Yeah. There was 4. I think there was 4 issues done. It's kind of card, so it's kind of a card
cardstock.
Kind of a card stock. So that was the first. Bouquet. I'll show you some of the artwork there.
Pretty sharp.
That's a double page spread. So quite nice layouts.
They did a good job on that one.
And that's the back cover.
Sharp.
So that was the first issue. This was the second issue. Number 2. Or they actually called them A, B, C, D. You see, so they didn't.
Right.
Numbers.
And that one, you almost have a photo cover. It looks like a photo, but I assume that's art. He's holding the photo of the.
Yeah, he's holding it. I think it's a very good. I don't think it's an actual photo, but it's kind of.
Oh yeah, I see.
I think it's kind of photographic, isn't it?
If I remember, that is his famous promo shot, though.
Yeah, it is. Where he's been crossed out. He's been crossed out. That's the title of that one. By hook or by crook.
Sharp.
Show you a couple of internal pages again. And then on the back, you've got that.
Let me just read that quick. The man that would not bend simply broke. Shattered and alone, he chose a number and christened himself number 1. Number 2. I do remember this. One of my main exposures to The Prisoner, it's a British television show, correct?
That's right. It was. Yeah.
And, I mentioned before, I'm a fan of Iron Maiden, and they had a song based on the show.
Right.
The quote is from, he says, "I am not a number. I am a free man." Right? Isn't that
right? Well, I've actually been on more than once to the place they actually filmed it in North Wales. It's called Port Merion, and I've been there about over the past 35 years. I've probably been about at least 6 times. It's an amazing place to see for real. You know what I mean?
I would love to see.
Quite amazing because all the external shots were all filmed there, of course. So you get to see the stone boat and number 6's house and all that kind of stuff.
That's a gorgeous layout to that book.
Yeah, it's quite nicely drawn, isn't it? Having a cricket match there.
Cool.
And then the final one for now is book 4 or book D, as it says down there.
I see.
So that's the final one of those. And this one has a title of, very appropriate, Departure.
Gotcha. Because it's book D, right?
Yeah, that's it. D for Departure, I guess.
Clever.
I'll just show you a couple of internal pages.
Sharp.
I don't know if you know how to make the screen bigger, like Pops does.
Oh yeah,
but
I
it
sure do.
doesn't matter. We can manage. You know, we
let's
can
try it.
manage without.
Oh wait, the
Oh
other
yeah,
way.
yeah. That's it. That's it. Yeah,
I need to go.
that's okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, we'll switch back. When we guys, I'm still figuring out the controls. You know, for those of you
Yeah.
guys that are just tuning in, Pops, of course, is at the convention today, so I'm going to fill in for him. And
Yep.
I'd like you to take a look at our sponsors. Of course, I was uncertain of how to play the sponsor reel before the broadcast went live. So I knew how to get to broadcast live and to change the ticker at the bottom. You see, I figured that out. But I'm still working with the layouts, which I'll do that as I'm proceeding here with myself. I'll try to do both at once.
Okay.
I wanted to try some different things, Dave, and I thought that some of these you might think is kind of neat. As you know, I'm a comic collector myself and have all kinds of titles, much like you. And one of my favorite publishers is, well, they're somewhat bigger than an indie now, but, you know, we try not to do too much with the DC and the Marvel and to look at some of the, you know, like the innovation and so forth, like you were showing. And I'm a fan of Avatar books. Are you familiar with Avatar?
I think I've heard the name.
Yeah, and this one I'm going to show you. Let me take it out here so I don't have too much glare. This is one called the Neonomicon. And what it is, they will show you the, it is essentially a take on the Lovecraft mythos. And this is in a variant called the Book of the Dead. And you see it has sort of like almost an Egyptian kind of look to it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it came in a 4-issue set. And these are what they call the variants. And, you know, they're highly collectible. And the reason why it's popular, of course, it was written by Alan Moore. And it's kind of his take on the Cthulhu legend. And like all things by Alan Moore, it has some disturbing horror elements. Book of the Dead, book 2.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite covers. And I love how it's designed to sort of look at the edges. See, it's like a tattered parchment, you see.
Yeah, very clever.
Yeah, that's from Avatar Press. And I got 4 of these I'll show you. And I've been an Alan Moore collector now for, well, many, many years, right? And it's something that I like everything that he puts out. But anytime that he's got a new take on something, I always check it out. And this one was kind of divisive because it was Lovecraftian. And some people love Lovecraft and some hate it. But here's a look at book 3. And you see it's very much an Egyptian parchment.
Yeah, it certainly looks like that, doesn't it?
Yeah. And sort of a different take on what, you know, the traditional comic would sort of look like, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm a sucker for things like that. Anything that's a hair different, you know, I like hand painted covers and all that kind of thing. Here's the one. This is book 4. And you see how it looks like it's banged up on the edges and sort of it looks like a little bit like a torn piece of paper.
Yeah, it's very cleverly done.
Yeah, and a real nice design the whole way around. And what the set itself looked like, here's a better look at a number 1 that is not the variant. And you see it's got sort of this spooky character. He's looking out the window. The reflection is the monster looking back in. And that's Neonomicon by Alan Moore and Jason Burrows. That's from Avatar.
Yeah, I've never seen that one before.
Yeah, I'm an Avatar fan. Do you like horror books?
I've got quite a few of the Marvel magazine size ones, yeah.
Wow, listen, that's my all-time favorite right there. You're speaking my language. I didn't bring any of those today. But I tell you, maybe next week we'll take a look at a few of those. You probably know then, let's see, I'm not sure if they were called this overseas, but, you know, they were the Kurtis books over here.
Oh, yeah, they were. That's right.
So, and I guess Kurtis was a Marvel property. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe so.
It was.
Yeah.
So, because, you know, Pops will reprimand us if we do too many Marvel books or DC books.
Well, that's it.
But there's definitely some gold back there.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a little bit of variety as well as doing the topic we're actually kind of mainly covering, if you know what I mean, you know?
Right. Yeah, I like that too. And as you know, I kind of also love the classics. So
I know.
Yeah, one of these times we'll rotate in a few of those.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to talk a little bit more about some more of the what I would call the lesser known indies, and in some cases, some of the ones that are pretty good. And I guess let me see if I can. Yeah, I can do it like that. Now, in the case of this one, this is called Harland Buck Free Sword. And what it is, it's what, we might call like a medieval fantasy.
Yeah.
It has a little bit of sort of like, it has some magic elements and some D&D. And the writer is a guy by the name of Scott Weldon. And he was one of the fellows that first helped me when I first started making comics. And I'll show you the interior. I think they did a really good job. It definitely has the feel of like a sort of like a modern Game of Thrones almost. And
yeah.
you got some great splash panels and very professional coloring. And it's got great action scenes. And this is a continuing, ongoing series. And I felt that Scott really did a terrific job with it. And he took a little hiatus, of course, from making comics. And I'm definitely hoping that he comes back. And how I originally found him was through his website. He's not primarily a crowdfunding guy, but I try to check out a little bit of everybody when I can, So, and like I also try to support the other creators when I can, because I like comics anyway. I come by it honestly. So it's something that I enjoy and hopefully can help other folks out a little bit what they're doing. This next one I got for you, this is kind of well known on the Kickstarter circuit. And what it is, this is a book called The Wailing Blade. And they're one of the bigger Kickstarters, and it's very well designed. And it even has one of these, let's see if I can get the light on it. It has like this chrome logo. You see how you got the chrome logo. Yeah. And as you know, these days, the guys are really big on developing what I call, quality world building and high production value. Like when you look through some of the artwork in this book, definitely high grade artwork and professional coloring and great world building. And see, they have maps and stuff, which, I always love. I love.
I remember that you like your maps from when I showed you those the other week.
So maybe a little bit, maybe violent for some folks, but I just love the colors and came out so beautifully, right? So that's a little glimpse at Wailing Blade. And so the studio in this case, it's from a group called Comics Tribe. And one of the things they're known for is they're one of these groups that often assist and advise other creators. It's one of the things that they do, if I understood that correctly. And I haven't yet gone down that road as far as how do I, make my own books with like an advisor. I'm kind of a solo act, Dave. I don't, I don't have any marketing folks or anything like that. I kind of do the stuff myself, but I think it's pretty fair to say eventually I'm going to have to learn how to do that.
But at least if you do it all yourself, you know what's what.
Yeah, and part of it is I'm somewhat hesitant to release control of what I'm doing to third parties, and it's
I can understand
I've worked
that.
with a couple of publishers, and I've had very positive experiences, largely most of the time. But I've worked with a couple of people that I probably wouldn't do it again, if you know what I mean.
I do.
This next one I got for you is kind of a sci-fi mystery thriller. And this is by a writer by the name of Frank Martin, who I kind of know a little bit. And this is called The Polar Paradox. And this is a nice quality book. It has sort of a cardstock cover and it has definitely the layout of, it's kind of like a movie. Like it starts out like an action movie and there's this submarine and they're, exploring the polar wastes and they discover
a magazine-sized book, Tim?
What's that?
Is that a magazine-sized book or just a normal comic-sized book?
It's novel comic size, but it is on sort of what I would call a upgraded cardstock paper. And
it just looked like a magazine size, for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, it does look a little bit oversized, and it definitely has the feel of a quality product on account of that cardboard. And it did come with a cool print and stuff like that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so they did a really good job with it. And the guy's name is Frank Martin, and he does something like 6 Kickstarters a year. And my hats are off to these ladies and gentlemen that do that much production, because it's it's challenging to put out. I mean, heck, I think I do 3 a year, and I feel like I got my hands full every day, if you know what I mean. It's not something that I already barely have enough time as it is. I don't know how they even do sticks. Like, the marketing and the websites
Well,
and
that's
the
it.
advertising
Yeah.
on social media, that's pretty soon that takes up all your time, you see. And whenever I have extra time, I always want to try and write the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this next one I got for you is an anthology. And this is another one that was featured on Kickstarter. And how I became aware of it, it features one of the artists who I work with, and it is called A Cold, Dark Universe. Which on the big screen there. And it's got lots of space stories. And the reason why I like it, it has, I work with a fella by the name of Luis Santa Marina, and he had a story in it. And I'm going to see if I can show you a couple pages of it. And it has this really kind of cool, sort of a trippy visual style that's completely unlike what anybody else is doing, you see. And it's got these original characters. There's sort of this talking owl and his robot companion.
Mm-hmm.
And even the color scheme is very subtle and different and very inventive. And this fellow's from Argentina. And look at some of this panel work. Like it's just different from what everybody's doing, you see. And the publisher in this case is BHC, and it is called A Cold, Dark Universe. And I like sci-fi stories to begin with, so I was already kind of sold on this. And it came with even a pretty cool sticker. I'll show you this sticker. It is A Cold, Dark Universe. So that's pretty neat.
Nice.
And yeah, he's a friend of mine as well, and you couldn't meet a nicer guy. But if you like sci-fi stories, man, check out Cold, Dark Universe. That's a good one. And I got one more, and then I'll switch back to you. The next one I got for you. This is a zombie thriller. And this is, I'm going to make sure I get these fellas' names right. It is written by James Maddox and illustrated by Landon Franklin and Brandon Franklin. The Franklins are twins, you see. And what it is a zombie thriller, Nightmare Unknown, Ogden Falls. And if you like things like Night of the Living Dead and, Walking Dead, it's a black and white zombie horror thriller. And it has a very sort of a dark overtone. And this one is from a group called Broken Icon, who I've got some, I share a letterer with these fellas. His name is Justin Birch, the letterer. And a terrific job on the production value of this book. And I was very pleased when I saw it. And it's something that, if you're looking for something, a little bit of a different take on the zombie thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it definitely has the feel, Dave, like you and I were saying, those old Marvel black and white Kurtis books. That's what it kind of feels like. And, I'm a huge fan of those. So that's something that I definitely recommend that one. So I'm going to turn it back to you. And while you're talking, I'm going to see if I can, expand you a little bit. We'll play with a couple of,
that's fine.
Turn them on and off and so forth.
It's all trial and error,
Yeah, there you go.
Right. Okay.
Thanks for your patience, Dave.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. No problem. Now, I don't know if you'll have seen this one or not. I'm just going to take it out of the bag because it's shiny. A little bit shiny. Here we go. Have you seen this one before? Nope.
Hold on. Let's see. The 60s. Wow, that does look cool. And what is it, 60s rock acts?
Well, let's have a look and see. It's all black and white inside. It's kind of, I'll just show you the inside page there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a cartoon history of rock and roll, apparently.
That sounds awesome.
And those are the storytellers.
See, now I would really dig something like that. That's something that I would think would be really cool.
Like I say, it's all black and white inside, but you can see, I think that's Elvis. Is that Elvis there?
Oh, yeah.
I think it is.
Well, we're all Elvis fans, I got to think.
Well, yeah. Let's see what else we've got in here. Got Rod Stewart.
Oh, nice.
There.
I guess in those days he was in the Faces, wasn't he? Wasn't Rod Stewart in the
Yes.
Faces?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. See what else we got. They're all different like chapters with headings. So,
A
new breed of metal gods from the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange book, this, because I've never seen it for sale anywhere else. It's all black and white.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'd be a fan of something like that, and I tell you, I've always been a fan of black and white comics, and of course, music is right in my area, you know. And especially, I'm a big fan of the new wave of British heavy metal. I guess that would have been more toward the '80s, but.
Mm-hmm.
And who's the publisher there, Dave?
The publisher is oh, I don't know. You got me wondering here. Hang on. Let's look at the back. It's published by Adam Post, Cork Tree Circle. That's what it says. Never heard of that one before. Yeah. That's what it says though, so I'm guessing. Another one on Pink Floyd there.
Oh, now you're talking.
A Brief Time Capsule, Pink Floyd.
And that'd be some early Pink Floyd.
You
got Syd Barrett in that version.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff in here. I don't think I've ever actually read it, which is probably hard to believe.
And what does it do? It shows the history of it, I assume? And
yeah, it's kind of, I think it's kind of short, short stories based on, these rock stars. I'm kind of guessing.
Gotcha. And are they true stories or is it like a documentary type thing?
Well, it says the cartoon history, so I'm guessing it's probably going to be true, I would have thought.
Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, Monterey Pop Festival. See, Dave, I would love something like this. I love the history of rock and roll, and I think it translates particularly well into comics. Yeah, nice. 1967, San Francisco.
Yeah, that's the Golden Gate Bridge. I actually got to cycle across that bridge back in 2007. I was on holiday there.
Oh, nice.
So I got to... yeah, it's quite a thick book, this,
And who we got there? Is that the Doors, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it looks like Jim Morrison a little bit. Oh, I see we got, looks like it might be Jimmy Page. That could be the original Yardbirds there, maybe.
Could be. It says John Paul Jones. John Paul Jones?
Oh, that's probably Zeppelin then.
Yeah, Jeff Beck forms a new group with a young Rod Stewart.
Yeah, we sometimes forget when you're talking the 60s, those guys all knew each other back then, and all the British fellas, you had the Faces, the Yardbirds, the new Yardbirds. Oh, gotcha. See it dark. So that's got to be Jim Morrison there, doesn't it?
I think so. There's absolutely all sorts in here, Grateful Dead.
Oh, there you go. Good stuff, man.
What else have we got in here? Rolling Stones and the Beatles.
Now you're talking.
1961 to 64. Yeah, I've never seen this book for sale anywhere else. So, and Frank Zappa.
Oh, there you go. Are you a Frank Zappa fan?
I've never really listened to much of his music, to be honest. I'm probably missing out.
I'm a Zappa fan, I admit it. He's not for everybody. I understand that.
Yeah.
But
So that's just thought I'd show you that one because it's kind of unusual.
for sharing that. I love rock and roll trivia, and then, man, to me, a rock and roll comic is just about two of my favorite things.
Now, I don't know if you'll have seen this one. These are some that I've found over the years with unusual covers and things, you know.
Oh, Wonderland Chronicles, sure.
This is like a preview book.
Yeah. Interesting.
So that's the back cover.
Nice.
So inside here, it's kind of like, obviously it's a preview. So you've got an article on one side and some examples on the other.
Sure. I'm sure.
And then on the next page, you've got some pencils.
I like the art.
Yeah, it's quite nice, isn't it? Just zoom in a little bit more, then you can see it a bit better.
And who is our publisher there, Dave? What's our publisher that we're seeing?
The publisher is published by buymetoys.com. Published by buymetoys.com, it says. So yeah, it's a bit of an unusual one, this, I think. Like I say, it's kind of like a preview, isn't it? It's just got a few more illustrations at the back.
Pretty sharp.
This girl went mad.
A
few more drawings there.
You got some robots, all right.
You got the Tin Man.
Yeah.
Cowardly Lion.
Sure.
See more of that.
I like the pencil work.
Yeah, it's quite good, isn't it? It's not bad. And this is some long ways ones.
Oh, sure.
Greg Horn's preliminary sketch. So that's like the sketch for the cover, I think. So that's that one. Yeah, I'll be glad when I'm fully back to normal because my voice still isn't right, but at least I can speak because last week I couldn't speak at all. My voice had just gone.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're feeling better. You do sound pretty good, so at least we're okay there.
This is a shiny one, as Pop
yeah.
would say. Shiny. That's the front cover. That's the back cover.
Nice.
So this is published by Brainstorm Comics. Don't know if you've heard of them or not. That's the inside page. There's a card as well again. So.
Oh yeah.
So this was published in year 1995. 1995. Nice. So written and illustrated by, I don't know if you can make that out.
Kirk Linio?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that. So some nice black and white art. To show you a couple of pages. There you go.
Oh yeah, I like that a lot. Kind of some bold inks.
Yeah, there is indeed. A couple more pages. There you go.
Oh yeah, that's gorgeous. Cool panels.
Yeah. Yeah, nicely done that. I've got a fun one for you next, Tim. Let's see what you make of this one.
The comic shop owner. Comic shop owner. That sounds terrific. American comics.
This is just take it out of the bag and have a better look at it.
I used to be a comic shop owner back in the day. I forget if I told you that.
No, I didn't know that, to be honest. Didn't know that.
Oh, okay, sure. And who's the publisher for that one?
So this was published in 2014 by Azurn Publishing. AAZURN. That's the splash page.
I'm not too familiar with them.
No. So this is kind of what it looks like on the inside.
Gotcha. I like the colors.
Yeah, they're quite good, aren't they? There's another. The inside of a comic shop.
Can't go wrong there.
Nope. You certainly can't. Somebody with a big stack there. Yeah, it's kind of an unusual one, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, and I'd be interested in that too. You know, having a comic book store is kind of a calling, isn't it? It's not for everybody, but I would imagine that that's something that once you decide that's what you want to do,
yeah,
it becomes a big deal.
That's the last page.
I like that bold blue. That really stands out.
It certainly does. Right, so just show you one more, and we can pop back to you again if you like.
Sure, sure.
This is kind of a strange one again.
How I Made the World. That looks like a notebook, kind of.
It does, doesn't it? It's an actual comic. It's the back. So in here, it's kind of been done to make it look like it's used. If I show you that.
Oh yeah,
that.
Yeah,
like
sure, I get it.
It's like a mug ring and a stamp on it.
Clever.
Like that. So that's the first page there. I didn't do that. That was like that. That's exactly how it was. That's exactly how it was.
The monster.
That's who it's by. So it's all black and white, as you can see. I quite like that page, you know.
I like the art.
With all the black. Kind of stands out.
Not bad at all.
And there's another couple of pages for you.
Yeah, I like it. Got kind of that classic feel.
Yeah. There you go. This one was published in, do I say when it was published? Don't think it says, you know. Oh, it might be 1992.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
1992. Right.
All right, sure. I'll jump back in here, Dave.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I got a couple more indies for you, and I'm going to do some sort of larger ones and some sort of smaller ones. I'll try and see if I can do my controls at the same time. This next book I have for you is a book called Pocus Hocus. That's chapter 1 right there. And that is, I know a couple of these guys. This is written by Alan Dunford and Will Radford and drawn by Brian Bellondo. And that's definitely one where they've done a nice job with this book. It's very professional.
Looks nice.
Yeah, and it's something where you can tell they put a lot of effort into their production quality of the book, you know. So you didn't get a good shot there. And I'll show you a little bit of interior art. First one, it starts out with kind of like a black and white classic panel. And then as it proceeds into the story, it proceeds into the color, you see.
Ah, clever.
Yeah, kind of neat,
Clever.
right? And then, you know, they sort of juxtapose the colors at significant story events. And these guys have just done a terrific job with their coloring and with their series. It's very creative. The next one I got for you, this is something I just picked up, and this qualifies as indie because now this was put out by originally by Dark Horse. And that is the Flaming
Carrots.
Yeah, are you a Carrot fan?
I've never really read it. I'm aware of the title, but I've never actually read one.
Yeah, and that's a black and white title too. And I guess the best way to describe it is that would be a comedy title.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like a surrealist, absurd take on the superhero genre.
Yeah.
And it is just downright weird. You know, he rides on his, let's see if I can get a shot of it. There he is on his motorcycle, but mostly he's known for riding his Flaming Carrot rides an atomic pogo stick. It's what he rides on. So highly recommended for the comedy folks out there.
Yeah, definitely.
The next one I got for you, this is, let me think if I can remember this. This is by a guy by the name of Alan Silverwood, and he used to work for Marvel. And this is called SPIs Among Us. And it's kind of like a take on what if these super beings were real in the modern day. I'll just give you a quick look at the interior. And this is what they call a handbook, which I like, and it sort of gives the lore of all the characters. And it's set out in a way that gives the background of all the characters and things.
Yes.
There's another book that has like their adventures and so forth. I'm going to save that for next week. But for today, I wanted to show you the handbook. And I really like the layout of it and the lore. It's very, very well documented and very detailed. And I can appreciate it when people take that much time to flesh out their fictional universes.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, and it's something, like I was saying, I'm a sucker for those kinds of guidebooks and maps and, what you and I might consider, background material, right? And depending on your point of view, some people would say that the background material is really what makes for the more interesting story, right?
Yeah.
The more better developed the characters are. The next one I have for you, this is from a publisher called Oni Press. Are you familiar with them at all?
Vaguely heard them.
Yeah, they've been putting out some quality books lately, and this one is called, let's get the screen. That's called Letter 44, and it's on it's like a map of the universe, kind of. And the premise of letter 44, it's about a president. First of all, it's set up to look like a declassified government files. And it talks about the president, when he takes office, he receives this letter. It's letter 44. And what is happening is the president before him has sent a probe out into space to examine the source of this interstellar signal that has been trying to communicate with Earth. It's got sort of a very sci-fi look. And anyway, the premise is, so the guy takes office. He's the new president. And the letter says, hey, you need to know, 4 years ago, we sent this probe out into space to look for this intelligent life that's been trying to reach us. Now that you're president, we have to alert you, we have just found it. And yeah, right. So, and then it talks about what happens next. There's lots of twists and turns and sci-fi, things like that. So highly recommended for people that like sci-fi. This next one I got for you, I'll just do one more. And what's our time? I guess we do an hour. Is that what we do?
Yeah. Well, we've been doing about an hour and a half actually over the past few weeks, but however long, like I think an hour and a half's the most we do. So
okay, gotcha.
Anything up to that. If it's a little bit less, it don't matter. Okay,
gotcha. So in the case of this one, this is by a guy by the name of Javon Jordan. And his company is called Uranium Age. You got your Golden Age, Silver Age, Modern Age. He's Uranium Age. And I just thought that was really clever. And what he is, this is called the Sav. And he's kind of like it has like a Native American type of hero. This is a cover by Carlos Villa, whose work I really like. And I picked that up on a Kickstarter crowdfunding too. And he does a lot of what you and I would call homage covers.
Yeah.
See, it says Native America instead of Captain America. They're very well done. And he's having a lot of success. He does a lot of covers now for Image. And I guess you'd say the plot of this one is that it is sort of like it's based on a Native American legend. He's got great colors, and he and I are potentially even going to work on some projects together.
Oh, quite nice.
Yeah. He did a good job with this book. And there's a good shot of him. That's the Sav. And he's kind of like a modern take on a Native American legend that, written with a sort of what I would call a horror sensibility.
Yeah.
Like it reads a little bit more like a horror story than a hero, if you know what I mean.
I do.
But that's cool too, because it's a little bit different than what you'd expect, And just nice job by the gang over at Uranium Age. And who knows what the future will hold, but I think he and I might even be working on a project together. At least we've been discussing it, and we'll see where that goes. I do quite a bit of writing in my time, and I'm always looking for somebody, if they want to pair up and do a project, I always say, hey, man, I'm all ears. Let's hear about it. See what you got.
Yeah.
I got one more that I'd like to show you, and this one is almost hard to describe. I'm going to say that it is a detective story, but it's also a little bit of a thriller. There's some supernatural elements, and I believe it's a Spanish title, so please excuse me if I screw this up, or viewers can let me know if I got it wrong. It's called Arroyo Seco, When Coyote Was Human. And look, he's got sort of and that's by my pal Terrence Grace, and he's got kind of a very modern sensibility on a classic tale, but the quality of this book, it's very high quality, and definitely laid out like this is what you and I would call a graphic novel. More so.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that.
Yeah. And even the layouts of it are very cinematic. It has the feel that you're watching a movie more so than reading a comic. Got a little bit of some violence in it, with some shootings and this kind of thing. And the idea is it plays out like a noir detective thriller, but it quickly becomes, as you go through the story, you find out it's going to be much more than that. And it has, a lot of supernatural elements to it. So that one, I'll see if I can hold it up and get a good shot. That is Arroyo Seco. And I think he did a terrific job with that book too. And, I try to show a little bit of love to the creators, especially the ones that I like. And
Yeah.
Viewers, if you see any of these that you'd like to check out, most of them are available on Kickstarter. Or if you're not sure, you missed something, you can shout out to me, and I'll be glad to steer you toward the correct person, and we can find it. And my last one that I'm going to do here, which the last two, which you just take a brief second and look at a couple of my books, which they've been turning up more and more here in the marketplace. I'm with Antarctic Press, which is the first one. There's actually, this is the same book, but there's what they call a variant cover. So I'll quick show you.
Right. Yeah.
And in this one, that is Planet Comics, number 3. That's the one from last year. And that's our character there, Sarah Strong, and her mechanical dragonfly, you see on the bottom there. Illustrated by Bruno Lima. And it came with a great variant cover by my pal, Erwin Arosa. And that is Planet Comics number 3. So that's something that if you like this type of material, this is a sci-fi, post-apocalyptic sci-fi short story is what it is. So I hope you guys will consider checking that out. It is published now by Antarctica Press. And I didn't want to make it too much about me, but I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't at least mention it.
Why not?
So I will. I'm going to jump back to you, Dave, and we'll see a few more selections from you before we close it out.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem at all. Right, we've got this one. This is a DC one.
Oh, I like that. You kind of got the 4-color look to it.
50.
And what does that say there? 50 who made DC great. I'm going to blow you up, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there you go. 50 who made DC great. I get you.
50 years later. So
yeah.
in here, basically what this is about, it was published in 1985, and it's all the different artists who wrote and drew Superman, I guess.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it kind of goes through everybody, right?
Yeah, there's quite a few names in there you'll recognize, I'm sure.
Oh, and it's some actors, too. I see Christopher Reeve on there.
Yeah. So in this book, this is kind of the layout of it. So you've got some classic covers and you've got some write-ups at each side. Like that. And you've got...
Oh, yeah, sure.
Some bios on MC Games.
Yeah, a little bit of a documentary approach.
Yeah.
Very cool.
A couple more there. So you get to see what the people look like. And you've got
oh yeah, see, I like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Siegel and Schuster, okay.
That's it. Bob Kane and Bill Finger on Batman.
Oh, right.
Couple more. Yes, it's quite an interesting book. There's plenty to read.
Well, and I love, documentaries about comics. That's one of the things that, we all have what I would call sort of a specific interest in our hobby, right, Dave? And it's something where some people are more interested in art and some are interested in writing, and some people love covers. And that's the great thing, is there's enough room for everybody in our hobby.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I like a lot is the history of how they were made.
Yeah.
And, things like that. Now, who do we got there? That is, Max Fleischer. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, now I know that might not be interesting to everybody. That is super interesting to me. I love to read about stuff like that.
And also, I really like the animated cartoons that they did at that studio. They were really good.
And by the way, I'd like to just chime in here. You're talking about what were they made in 42, 43? Does it say there? Something like that.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was right about that. Yeah. It says he began making them in 1915, and they found his own studio in 1921.
Okay.
Well,
I know they were early, and
yeah.
I guess what I was going to say was they hold up surprisingly well.
Yeah,
so,
they do.
You can see it today. It's 2023. Okay, yeah, they were released between 41 and 43, according to this. So
yeah, the animation. I mean, the animation was really well done.
Yeah,
in those cartoons, really well done.
Good stuff. Oh, Wayne Boring, Kurt Swan. Yeah, so what we're seeing is some of the giants there.
Yeah,
Some of the best there are.
That's it.
Bernard Trout. Gotcha. I'm not as familiar with that one. I'll have to look that one up. Oh yeah, that's cool. That's a good one, Dave.
There's Roy Thomas there. Is that right?
Sure.
Yeah, Roy Thomas. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Roy as a young man.
Yeah. You got Adam West and Burt Ward there.
Sure.
Batman.
I recognize Carmine.
Yeah. Neil Adams and Danny O'Neill.
Yeah, two giants of the industry.
Couple more for you.
Who we got here? This is Adolf Kabatic and Hanna-Barbera. Well, I guess he must be the German arm of the...
Yeah. Well,
you see, I can... excuse me. I consider myself fairly knowledgeable, but there's still a lot that I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's the same with me. I mean, I'm the age I am, and I'm still learning things now. So...
Oh, sure. And Linda Carter, of course, the classic Wonder Woman that I'm from my childhood,
That's right. Wolfman and George
Wolfman and Perez. Yeah, you're getting into some good stuff there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a shame about George, wasn't it? Because I think he passed away last year, was it? Miller?
Let's see, what do we got?
Superman peanut butter.
Oh, Superman peanut butter. That's great. That's terrific.
And Kenner products. And then just to finish off, we've got a few more classic covers.
Oh, yeah, sure. There's the Superman versus Spider-Man, one of my favorites of all time.
Yep. House of Secrets, first appearance of Swamp Thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The final four. There you go.
Oh, yeah, good stuff. Action 1.
I just thought you'd like to see that one.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
It's okay. Want us to do another, or how are we for time?
Well, I'm just about ready to wrap it up. I have my daughter here visiting for the week, so I guess we'd be right around an hour. But Dave, I want to thank you for, again, taking the time to show us some of the treasures in your collection. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. And, I have a deep respect for other collectors in the hobby. And I hope we get to do it again this week. Are we scheduled to go again this week?
Yes, I think we're on next Sunday night, as far as I know. Yeah.
All right, perfect. I saved a couple of special things I was waiting to show you. And one of the things I want to ask about, we'll ask Pops this too, but if you'd like to talk about a little bit, some collectible merchandise too. If you like, for me, I thought that was super interesting seeing Superman peanut butter. I like to focus on the things that sometimes folks wouldn't necessarily see, and I think that's part of the fun of this show. And I think you bring a lot to it by sharing your collection, Dave.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for that, Timothy. And likewise, your collection's quite nice to see as well, because I've seen a lot of stuff I've not seen before.
Yeah, and the feeling's mutual. And that's, like I was saying earlier, that's kind of the fun of the hobby, is that well, there's always something new that you can discover, and there's always some new treasure right around the corner. So
that's right.
In closing, I'd just like to say, thanks once again for joining us, and viewers, thanks for tuning in to the show offs. I hope you enjoyed seeing this glimpse into Dave's and my collection. And Pops, thanks for handing me the reins this week. I hope we made a good show for you. And I'm starting to even figure out the picture-in-picture stuff. We're getting little by little, we're getting there and trying the different things. And I got to get used to where we're doing it on the fly.
Well, that's it. Well, I mean, you've not done so bad there, Tim.
Well, thanks. And like I say, it's only going to get better from here. And for those of you that are maybe seeing this for the first time, please follow us along on the comic-related madness. That's Pop's Network, and there's just a bunch of great shows on there. And, of course, I have my YouTube channel going as well, which my handle is @Timothy Fling, if you would like to find me over there and watch the shows. Other than that, we'll look forward to seeing you next week on the next episode of the Show Offs.
Absolutely. So look after yourself, Tim, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Bye,
Good night,
viewers.
everybody.
Yeah, bye, everybody.